Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by for yet another video. I do appreciate that, and as always, I appreciate you. So, what we have here, it says Japan wants to push 1,000,000 tons of radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean. Let's get down here and see what it has to say. Goes on to say that Japan has still not come to a consensus on what to do with 1,000,000 tons of nuclear water 6 years after the primary nuclear power plant in Fukushima was rocked by a tsunami. It says the water stored in 900 large, dense packed tanks on site could spill if another major disaster were to strike. It also goes on to say that the government has been urged by experts to gradually release the water to the Pacific Ocean, as the radioactive elements of the water, except tritium, which has been said to be safe in small amounts, have been removed through treatment. But if the tank breaks, the contents may not be able to be controlled. So here's the thing that don't make sense about this statement to me. Is okay, I can understand the fact that tritium in smaller amounts is said to be safe. Okay, but just because you're draining this water slowly into the ocean, to me you're still releasing the same amount of tritium, just not at a quick pace. You know what I'm saying? So the buildup of tritium in the ocean is still going to be the same amount, no matter how slowly you release it. Correct? So maybe I'm wrong, but it just nothing with Fukushima seems right to me. 6 years after this disaster, they're trying to say that they're telling these people that the fish are safe to eat, and they've done tests and they're safe to eat. I'm sorry, but I truly don't. I don't always trust what our government tells us. I just don't. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but it doesn't make sense to me. And like I said, I'm no expert on this stuff, so I could be wrong. But I don't believe after 6 years that everything around this area is safe. I don't believe the Pacific Ocean, at least around Fukushima, is safe. Regardless, and I think, right down here it'll say, when we get to it in a minute, it says 1 in 5 residents still refuse to eat the fish even though they're being told that it's safe, and I don't blame them. Because none of this adds up to me. I don't think draining this radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean slowly is going to do anything except for harm the fish, harm all the sea life. Because yes, if you drain it slowly, I understand in small amounts that it's safe, but you're still putting the same amount of tritium into the ocean, just at a slower pace. So again, to me, things just don't add up at all with Fukushima, and it hasn't. The more articles I read, the more it just doesn't add up. But it goes on to say that local fishermen are extremely hesitant to this solution because many consumers are still uncertain to eat fish caught off Fukushima, despite tests that say the fish is safe to eat. Now, of course they're going to tell you that. And a lot of people don't believe that their government would do such things to us or to you, and I'm sorry, but I just think some people need to start opening their eyes. But it says people would shun Fukushima fish again as soon as the water is released. Fumio Haga, a dragnet fisherman, told the Japan Times. Now it says when a magnitude 9 earthquake struck Japan, triggering a tsunami that killed 18,000 people, the quake and massive flooding knocked out the power to the Fukushima nuclear plant, causing 6 reactors to have partial meltdowns. Now it says the radiation was launched into the air, and highly contaminated water also spewed into the Pacific Ocean. It says despite the fish being tested and scientists saying it is safe to eat, 1 in 5 residents still refuse to eat fish and other foods from Fukushima. Many people believe that the water is stored because it's not safe to release, and they think Fukushima's fish is not available because it's not safe to eat. Now, since currently the amount of radioactive water at Fukushima is still growing by 150 tons a day, so they have nowhere to put this contaminated water, and it's growing at 150 tons a day. says the volume of contaminated water grows because it mixes with groundwater that has seeped through the cracks in the reactor buildings. Now it says after treatment, 210 tons is reused as cooling water, and the rest of the 150 tons is set to a storage tank. Now it says that, and it's expensive. It says the water has been causing headaches for the Tokyo Electric Power Company Holdings Incorporated, the utility that owns the plant. In order to reduce the flow of the water, the company has dug dozens of wells to pump out groundwater before it reaches the reactor buildings. Now it says a questionable underground ice wall was also built underground by partially freezing the ground around the reactors. Now it finishes up by saying that some experts have proposed to move the tanks to an intermediate storage area or delay the release of the water until 2023, when half the tritium that was present at the time of the disaster will have disappeared. Now see, again, I get they have nowhere to really store this water or put this water, but I think, draining it even slowly into the Pacific Ocean, you're still going to be causing harm to the sea life and all the fish and all the different sea life and people as well who are still eating these fish. Now, only 1 in 5 are still eating these fish, and I'll be honest, I don't care what the scientists are telling them or what their government is telling them. I wouldn't trust it. You look at Chernobyl, and I keep going back to that because I've done some articles on that. And even 30 years later, it's not even safe within 18 miles of that area, really, around Chernobyl. It's still a no-go zone. And it's said it's going to take at least another 100 years before that area is safe. So to me, how are they? I know it's on a smaller scale, a much more smaller scale than Chernobyl, but at the same time, there were partial meltdowns of 6 nuclear reactors. How can you tell me that after 6 years it's already safe to eat the food, eat the fish, and that the area is now safe to live in again? I just don't buy it. I really don't. But again, that's just my opinion. I'm sure everyone has their own opinion on the situation. But again, that's where I'm going to leave it. Again, thanks for supporting the channel and watching these videos. We're growing every day because of you, and I appreciate every single one of you very much for that. But other than that, be sure to share, like, subscribe, and comment down below. And be sure to turn on check that bell notification as well. That way you will get my videos when they're uploaded. And but yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.